What's going on, guys? This is Malcolm. You're on Malcolm Talks. How y'all feeling, man? Y'all doing all right? That's good. That's really good, man. Today I'm gonna keep it light. I'm not gonna go into too much deep information. I don't want to be too controversial today. So today I'm gonna talk about CRT. That's right. I'm gonna talk about critical race theory. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I said I wasn't gonna be controversial. That was a lie. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Critical race theory. I know you've been hearing it all in the news, and you might be wondering, what in the world is that? I know it's about black people, and that's pretty much the extent of it for most people. They don't have any idea what critical race theory even means. But I tell you one thing, it's a lot going on. All you got to do is Google it. Look how many articles pop up. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with critical race theory. And first of all, let me just explain to you in a nutshell what critical race theory even is and what it even means. Critical race theory is very simple. All it's basically saying is that, hey, you know what? This whole notion of race, it's not real. It's something that was created by people in power in order to oppress. That's all it's saying. That's literally all it's saying. It's basically saying that race is not real. That any label you want to put on a person because of the color of their skin, if you want to say that there's some biological, structural, genetic difference, and that black people are somehow so much different than other people, that's not true. What critical race theory is saying is that throughout history, this has been something that was created and pushed in order to oppress black people. And right now, it's starting to come to the forefront. And it's a lot of people catching hell, and it's a lot of people saying, oh, wait a minute now. We don't want that in our schools. We don't want y'all teaching it. We don't want to even talk about it. Because let me just explain one quick thing to you. There's a lot of House bills being passed all over this country in a lot of different states. It's a big thing right now. Everybody's talking about it. There's a number of different House bills that's being recommended. They're trying to push certain things into law. A lot of states are basically saying, hey, look, in your colleges, in your universities, in the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools, in the private schools, in the charter schools, we don't want you talking about nothing dealing with no critical race theory. We don't want you to talk about it. We feel as though it is a divisive concept. That is the word, that's the phrase that's been used. They said it's divisive. It's too charged. It's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to talk about those types of things. And the government, state governments are getting together like, hey, we gotta band together. It's not going down like that. They've considered it a divisive concept. And they said it's so divisive that we are going to withhold state funding. If we catch wind of you talking about critical race theory in that classroom, we're going to hold 5 to 10% of the funding. Very, very interesting. Can you imagine? They said that we're going to take away the funding. That's power. They said we're going to impose financial penalties on you guys. If we catch you talking about it, not only are we going to withhold funding, you can be fired. Go ahead, talk about critical race theory. Talk about it, see what happened to you. You're going to get fired. And some states are even going so far as they want to completely ban diversity training. They want to ban it. They're like, look, man, it's just too much going on, bro. We don't want to hear it. The history of slavery is so divisive. But if we talk about it, it's actually going to create more problems. That's how a lot of people feel. I don't feel that way. I feel like, hey, we need to talk about it. But there's a lot of states, a lot of people in power that feel like, you know what, man, that's just not what we want to do right now. You know, and then there's other states that are like, well, if you're going to talk about it, you can talk about it. But if you're going to talk about it, then you need to introduce multiple perspectives. Don't talk about critical race theory as if it's the only perspective, because you got to remember, it's critical race theory. It's a theory. Now, that's something I need people to understand too and think about. It's not necessarily a fact. This is a theory. You know, there's a lot of very, very intelligent people that are trying to open up the conversation about, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about race. And when I say race, I'm talking about the word, the definition. What was it? What is it? What was it being used for? Because if you go back, you can clearly see that black people and women, we weren't part of the conversation, guys. They weren't part of the conversation. Black people and women. That's why a lot of states is like, look, if you want to talk about anything divisive, dealing with race or dealing with gender, sex, stuff like that, we ain't talking about that. We don't want to talk about that. And I'm gonna give you a perfect way to look at it. I'm gonna give you a non-racial way for you to understand what's going on right now, because a lot of people get so up in arms about race that it becomes very difficult for them to be able to see clearly the facts and what's going on. They get clouded because it's such a charged topic. But I'm gonna give you an example to maybe help you understand. Imagine the United States was a huge website. And any of my guys and girls out there who have built a website before, you know what I'm talking about. Let's say it was a big WordPress website. And the website got created back in the 1600s or whatever. Well, actually way before that. The website got created when the first Americans came over here. In the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna get into that. But let's just go way back. And this is when the website of America was created. Now on that website, you had different pages. And on those website pages, you had content. You had pictures, you had video. Follow me now. You had everything that a website has on it, right? And then you had sub-pages under those websites. Under those pages on the website. The website had a hierarchical structure from the very beginning. It was systemic. It was created in such a way where there's certain pages, certain content that is more visible, that is more readily available and accessible. Black people didn't really have any information on that website. And if we had information on the website, it was hidden. So it's still on there, but you know, it might be hidden on a page, underneath another page, underneath another sub page in a link. So it wasn't something that was readily available and accessible. I think what critical race theory is trying to do, critical race theory is like, hey guys, you made this website. It's a beautiful website. It's a beautiful, I mean, the website looks great, but our information about who we are and about our contributions to this country, it needs to be more on the forefront. We want something on the main page of your website. And the web developers, you just gotta follow me on this one, guys. I'm trying to give you an analogy. Look at the US as a huge, complex website that has hierarchies. And when I say hierarchies, I'm talking about from a systemic level. Like there's different pages, and you got your home page, you got your contact us page, and then you got your sub headers and sub pages. I think they call them breadcrumbs. I think that's what they're called. But just follow me, because a lot of y'all is gonna go straight over your head. But if you know about website design, website development, you can follow me on this. What critical race theory is basically saying, hey guys, we want something on the front page. We need everybody in America to know black people's contributions. We need them to know that when they see a black person, You're looking at an American. Now, some of you guys might think that already. Like, of course we know you guys are Americans. You're African Americans. Well, hold on now. We're Americans first. We're Americans, guys. Now, a lot of you may disagree with that, because the way I look at it, you can be born in Africa, or you can have African ancestors, not ancestors, but African like parents, or your grandparents may be from Africa. You're much more African than I am. I'm pretty sure I do have African ancestry, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that for a fact, and I don't know where they're from. You mean to tell me the only way I can find out is if I do 21andMe or whatever it's called, or the genealogical test where they prick your finger and then they tell you 21% Sierra Leone, and I'm supposed to truly believe that? I mean, it's good information, but where are the facts? Like, who's my family members over there? I mean, that would obviously be fascinating, and I would love to have that information, but we just don't have it right now. What we do have is America. This is where I live. This is where my grandparents, this is where my parents live. This is where my grandparents live. This is where their grandparents live. This is where their grandparents live. Like, you're not going to be able to take that away. Black people have such a huge contribution to the establishment of America that we need to be on the front page. And here's the whole thing, and I'm gonna just end it off with this. If people in power, and see, when I say people in power, I'm not necessarily talking about white people. See, this really comes down to money. It comes down to wealth and power. Because remember, race is not real. Money is. Money's real. Wealth is real. So when you talk about changing a structure, or when you talk about making changes to a system, what you're essentially doing is having to restructure a complex website. Now, in all fairness, what happens when you have to restructure a website? Well, that means you have to move pages, you have to rearrange hierarchies, you have to add content, take away content. But guys, whenever you have to do that for a website, what does a website do? It shuts down for a little while and it says under construction. We can't do that in America. We can't put under construction across America. Things are constantly going on. It's like trying to fix the plane while you're in the air. So I think what's happening is you have a lot of people who are just resistant to the whole idea in general. But then there's another element of this where it is a lot of systems planning that needs to take place so that we can rearrange things in such a way that we don't have to put under construction. Now, a lot of people want to see, they're like, look, I don't care what happens, man. Y'all need to change things, and I don't care if the whole thing goes down in smoke. You know, I'm more of a believer in all progress is good progress. That's just me. Now, some of you guys might want a revolution. That's fine. I'm more about, like, you know, some growth, it doesn't happen as quickly as you'd like, but it's still growth. My thing is, I just don't want to go backwards. I feel like with critical race theory, this is a good thing. And I think it's good that it be on everybody's radar. And I think it's good for people to open their minds up a little bit and just ask themselves, well, damn, is race real? Or was it made up? You know, I challenge you guys, look at your history. Read up a little bit about it. Really start to understand that information was being pushed for hundreds of years that tried to say we were inferior when it wasn't true. And because of that, a lot of people put things in place to intentionally keep us down. They try to intentionally keep us away from wealth. And that's not right. And we just need everybody to know about that. That's what critical race theory is doing. Once everybody understands that, I think the whole idea is that we'll be a better nation. We'll be one nation. Because right now, we a few different nations right now. We all live in America, but everybody's like, man, I don't feel respected, bro. Like, that's just, a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel like they don't have their main page on the front of the website.